Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host, Caliban. How come everybody want to keep it like the Kaiser?
And we're a couple of magical people ready to Moon Crisis make up this episode. Today we are talking about episode number 143. Pegasus o Shinjiru Toki, Yon Senshi no Super Henshin in Japanese. Believe in Pegasus, the Four Guardians Super Transformation, the English translation, and the English title, Kicking It Into High Gear.
Round Yon Senshi, so tender and mild. You think that they could, now that I am looking closely at titles of anime,
yes,
specifically on my our new show, Beyond Good and Eva, where we talk about Neon Genesis Evangelion. And I'm realizing there's a Japanese title, there's an English translation of that title, and then also because the people that made this show wanted it to go global, baby.
That's right.
They gave it a specific title that was specifically in English, which also was evocative of what was going on in the show. A subtitle, if you will.
Yeah.
That's a much shorter way to say what I just said.
Yeah, for Evangelion.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I wonder why Deke or Cloverway couldn't have just done something like that, right? Because there is essentially a sentence that is the title of every one of these Sailor Moon episodes. Just take the shortest part of that sentence, the part that's got clothing or bowling or a horse in it or whatever. But instead they're like, kicking it into high gear. We're kicking it into high gear. Also, in about 21 years, there will be a guy who is trying to do these on his podcast, and we need to ruin his day.
Well, I think that's
we got a horse. We got to kick it into high gear. Are there cars in this one? That doesn't really matter. We're kicking it into high gear.
Yeah. I think I know why it's kicking into high gear, but we can talk about that later.
If you mean the fact that we're reaching a second paradigm, then yes, that's the answer. But what I'm saying is that...
Yes.
that it? Was that what it was?
No, but also, there's a lot of soccer in this episode.
Yeah, but there's no gears.
No, I know.
Yeah.
They're not that smart.
Right.
They're not that clever.
If they called
They're
it...
like, oh, good enough.
Yes, right. Like kicking it up a notch.
Yeah, I know.
There's no gears in soccer.
No.
Unless you're going to tell me something that I don't know about Japanese soccer. I've played those Mario games.
Oh my gosh.
There's turtle shells in soccer. I know that.
Yeah, we know this. This is totally true. No, I guess were there gears in
War?
Well, obviously in Metal Gear Solid there's gears.
Metal
we know
Gear.
this. But gosh, why can't I not cyberpunk? It's another kind of punk, steampunk. Wow. My brain.
There are many gears in steampunk.
Yeah, but is
and
there...
brass punk.
Right. But in steampunk, are there gears in soccer? That's what I need to know.
You pull down your round John Lennon glasses and put on your top hat and you say, we're kicking it into high gear. Then your dirigible takes off.
Yes. Yeah. That's what they were thinking of when they came up with this title.
They were ahead of their time.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. We really need to kick it up a notch or kick it up to high gear for Cloverway.
I have to imagine, I know there's English cooking shows, but they must all be like, that's delicious, right? Like nobody's like, boom, and that's how you kick it into high gear, mate.
No.
Right?
No.
Like Gordon Ramsay only really yells at people.
Yes.
And swears at them.
Yes.
But he's not like, cumin, boom, high gear.
No, not really.
That's like an Emerald thing.
That is like an Emerald thing. Like I'm thinking of like...
Nigella Lawson isn't like, that's tasty.
No! Absolutely not! Like...
Oh, fuck.
No! I'm thinking of like the Great British Bake Off.
Yeah,
and
right.
like, and Paul Hollywood.
Moist.
Yeah, I know. Paul Hollywood, if he really likes something, he'll give you a famous Hollywood handshake.
Whoa.
Yeah, so that's how you know you've impressed this Brit.
Named Paul Hollywood.
Yeah. So,
It's not like Johnny Cambridge over here who's like, this shit, that's good.
Right. Oh, wow.
It's an exchange program. All Right.
I'm going to teach you Brits how to get excited about your food. Well, let's get excited, ? About this episode.
Great self-propelled segue. And then you kind of like, at the end went, are we right to do this?
Well, I mean...
Should we be doing this?
Okay, let me put it this way,
That
Cal.
was the Oppenheimer of segues.
Let me put it this way, Cal. I'm excited to talk to you.
Kick it up a notch?
To kick it up a notch. I'm not sure how I feel about this Actually, I know how I feel about this episode, but I'm excited for your interpretation of this episode.
Okay, well, here it is. We open on a rainy Tokyo night. On the highway, a lone semi-truck cuts through the darkness. In the cab, we see the driver, and he sees an apparition of a winged horse diving at him through the gloom. Smash! The truck is a flaming wreck, the unending blare of its horn the only evidence of its former function. In the night, the horn of a winged horse gleams coolly. We cut to daytime, a soccer field at Juban Elementary where boys are playing that sport. We cut to a window above the field where we see Chibi, Fomo, Kyusuke, and another girl with red hair, a little red-haired girl. Watching the game, this third girl says, wow, Robert is really something. And Chibi says, Robert? And the girl says, he's in the class next to ours. He's the best. Even the 6th grade girls think so. Okay, questions,
Yeah.
and logic.
Yeah.
If the 6th grade girls like Robert, and that's extraordinary, but it's not impossible, they're talking about it. I'm guessing that Robert is in 5th grade.
That's kind of what I'm thinking,
And
too.
if he's in the class next to Chibi, then Chibi is also in 5th grade, or maybe the class next means an adjacent class or the next class up, so she's in 4th grade, which either way means that she's 9 or 10. Is that what we're supposed to believe?
I don't
Is
feel
that
like
what's
that's
going on?
right.
That would explain why Kyusuke is 6 feet tall now. Maybe.
That would explain that. You got that right.
Did Chibi come back from the future, but like a couple years later?
Ooh.
Remember? Because she's in a different... she has a time machine.
Yeah.
She can come back like King. She can come back whenever.
Yeah.
So she doesn't seem to have grown at all. So that's bad for my theory, but maybe she's a slow starter. You know, it explains why she's not shopping in the women's section right now. But like, because everybody else, we noticed that like Momo has like a different personality. Kyusuke is, 11 feet tall. I've been saying that she's like 6 or 7 this whole time because I've just been tracking.
That's what I thought.
What we said, but it's possible she lived a couple more years in the future and then came back.
It is entirely possible.
To a point that was not on Sandima's time, if you will, that wasn't contiguous with the point that she left.
But then why are her...
Sign off in the comments.
But why are her
Let us
friends
know on Discord.
Is she in the same class with her friends then?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. She's gifted.
Okay.
It makes what's going to happen even worse. We'll get to it. The group starts to head home from school, but they're stopped in the courtyard by none other than that Robert himself. Ooh, Robert. I immediately do not like Robert. He looks like a rich kid or a bully in a 90s kids movie.
Wow.
He's got shoulder-length blonde hair and blue eyes, and he's in a soccer getup, which, actually this is exactly what I look like in 6th grade, so maybe that's...
A little self-hate there.
Minus the implied privilege. I think that's here. I don't know anything about Robert. Maybe he goes home and things aren't so great.
I think
Maybe he crosses those tram tracks on the way home. He's on the other side.
Wow.
Robert says, you're Chibiusa, right? Do you want to go out with me? I'm like really fond of you, and you'd like me too. And Chibi is speechless at this. She cannot speak. And Robert says, well, I got soccer practice. I'll be done at 4:00. Think about it. And he runs off. Right away, Chibi's girlfriends are like, whoa, look at you. Lucky, what are you going to do? But Kyusuke's like, dumb. Girls are dumb. And he walks out of the episode.
I know.
Never to return.
Kyusuke, we like you.
We just see him. He bumps into the boom mic guy and knocks a light over as he leaves. He's gone.
Oh my god. So I want to just mention, I think that Robert, besides being coded as privileged and all that, I feel like he's coded as a foreigner.
Because the blue hair and
his eyes are
and the blonde eyes.
His eyes are huge.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah,
and it's fine if they want to do that, but even for anime, these guys got big eyes.
He's got huge eyes.
I'm so glad somebody else said that.
I've seen other anime where they're like, no, these anime characters with large eyes are foreigners, so their eyes are like this, and it's like,
we're on the same page as far as that goes.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So anyway, the little red-haired girl whose name is Aki. I'll tell you that right now. I did not learn that in the episode. I had to Google that. They haven't introduced this character. This is her first and probably only appearance. I hate when they do this. I had to Google her to find out her name, and I spoiled the episode for myself before I finished watching it.
Oh, no!
I hate when they do this. But her name is Aki. I got that knowledge through blood, so I'm going to use it. It's not her fault they don't write better friend characters for Chibiusa. Anyway, Aki says, being the main character and all, Aki says, doesn't he seem suspicious? Meaning Kyusuke in this case. Mm-hmm. And Momo says, yeah, maybe he's got a thing for Chibiusa. Oh, lucky. And Chibi is totally overwhelmed by this.
Yeah.
Plus, she's spoken for already. Speak of the stable, back at the Sakino house, Chibi is FaceTiming with Pegasus and tells him the whole situation. Muzzle timing? What? What's wrong?
Just that you never said FaceTiming.
I've said that before.
I don't remember you saying that.
She says that
muzzle timing.
She
says, on, I'm gonna take a minute.
Well, I mean, what kind of phone would a horse have? An Apple phone, right? She says that Robert wants to be a soccer player.
Yeah.
He's handsome and he's got a fan club already. And Pegasus says, oh, yeah, but does his face grace millions of hologram stickers? Does he have Harry Hamlin on speed dial? Did he help Bellerophon kill hundreds of people with boulders?
Oh my God.
Don't tell anybody about that last one. Chibi says, what am I going to do? And we cut to Pegasus's face. It's a real Curb Your Enthusiasm moment. He has the saddest look. This is the saddest a cartoon horse has ever been. Just like, do, 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 do. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Just a 1,000-furlong stare on this guy's face. And it's awesome. Screw you, Pegasus. Chibi says, hey, what should I do? And Pegasus says, oh, I don't know. Do what you want. Whatever. It's all about you anyway. And if he wasn't trapped within a globe that can call from her dreams, he would also walk off of that set. Kick that boom mic guy with his rear legs like it's Nope. And we'd be out of there. And Chibi looks at him like, wow, what a simp. In the kitchen, Usagi is rummaging through the cupboards, and she says, sheesh, the bugle in my tummy is sounding off. Classic Sailor Moon.
Whoa.
You didn't get that in your translation?
No, that's great, though. Mine was not nearly that awesome.
What a great chance for us to do a translation rewind, because in the Viz sub available on YouTube, it says, gee, my stomach's growling out of control.
Yeah, it's not nearly as fun.
That's no kicking it into high gear, I'll tell you that right now.
It's not. What was yours again? It was something about a bugle?
Gee, the bugle in my tummy is really sounding off.
I think that should go on a t-shirt, personally.
She goes into the living room, and the TV is tuned to Plot Point News at 5. A string of winged horse attacks on humans and cars is being reported. If you or someone you know has been attacked by a Pegasus, call or fax us immediately, because it's the 90s. And now our traffic report from our eye in the sky, Kenny Oshima. How's it look out there, Ken? The 405 is backed up all the way to Chiba, so if you're going east this afternoon... Oh my God, what's that? Ah! Feathers! Feathers everywhere! Nothing but feathers! Tell my wife I love her! Usagi stops eating her cookie. This is so serious. And she runs out the door. The tinkle of ice brings us to the neon bar, where Tiger's Eye and Hawk's Eye are looking over another batch of photographs and complaining that they haven't had any pizzazz for a while. I don't know. You guys were double dating Minako last week, so
I know.
I don't know what your problem is. Fisheye comes in and says, whew, I'm so tired. And Tiger and Hawk say, you were set on goading out the Sailor Senshi, but it looks like it's not going well. And I'm just going to tell you right now, because we got a lot of episode left, they never explain really that it's Fish who's doing this. I mean, we can put the pieces together when we
Right.
learn what we learn, but it's not like a horse lands and then goes, or a horse lands and Fish is there and gives him an apple and says like, good job.
No.
This is like not told well, and it's not told in a way that's supposed to be a mystery. It's just not told well.
No, I agree. I agree. It's
say.
not.
Fish says, my plans are extravagant. They're too dense. Oh, well, our job is to assault people with beautiful dreams anyway. You are right. They take a sip of their drink and say, so, any good victims? Ooh, look at this one. And they pick up a picture of Robert, who, like you said before, definitely white.
Yeah.
He really comes across in this picture. He's an exchange student, something, I don't know.
Yeah.
Tiger says, but that's... And Hawk says, just a little brat. So, male and too young, the Terror twins are out of this one.
Yes.
Fish says, that's the best part. Uh-oh!
Yeah.
They say, those arms and legs and their glowing skin, such a charming boy.
It's
wow.
Really.
To beat Pegasus.
Yeah.
You gotta be Pegasus! Tiger says, you can go for those younger than you. And Fish shrugs, finishes their drink, and gets up, saying, well, I'm off. Big brother will be right by your side.
Yeah,
I don't have anything for this.
No, I do have a translation rewind. For when Fisheye is talking to Tiger and Hawk, and they're like, oh, you just don't understand, about boys this age, what have you. Fish says it's a deliciousness you find only in boys this age, which I find incredibly gross.
What's the deliciousness?
Also,
why does Fish say big brother and then does their, I'm a girl bit?
Great question.
It doesn't, like, I thought, oh, Fish is going to Fish is going to like have a hat on backwards and be like, what's up, my bros?
Right.
Oh, hey, good soccer moves, and try to, do that.
I mean, that would honestly
I'm
make more sense.
I'm criticizing Fish's grooming here.
So weird.
Fish, not you too.
I know.
Please.
What has Supers done to us?
Meanwhile, at Fruit Parlor Crown, the squad is looking at the cover story of the most recent Juban sports periodical. The scoop of the century, it says. A story about the Pegasus attacks. And I like that there's like an artist's sketch, a diagram of Pegasus on the cover, and a caption saying, this is a Pegasus. First class journalism, Juban Sports. Ray says, to think that Pegasus would be causing this trouble. And the other girls can't believe that Pegasus has become their enemy. While this serious conversation is going on, Usagi is stuffing her face. Classic Sailor Moon. Somebody's on the right page.
Yeah.
Somebody's trying to get us back to where we need to be. And that's our girl. Did she see that TV report on Pegasus running wild in the city and think, I need a fruit parfait?
So she was
because
so
it's like
hungry.
it doesn't this is the other half of this is the button of the joke, but it doesn't work when we pick it up already. If she was eating the cookie and she's like, oh my god, I hate chocolate chips or something like that, you know what I mean? Like, because that's basically what this is.
Yes.
They just did it later. Like they just cut that off and just went ahead and did it later.
That's a really good point, because it's like it's startling that she stops eating.
And then plus this becomes like, what do we do with Usagi? Oh, well, she's going to eat through this entire scene because everybody else is concerned. She has to be different. But I'm like, then why set up the great thing where she sees the thing and is like, oh my god, and she runs out, and we can assume that she told everybody,
right?
But then was not. She ran out. She was in the middle of a cookie and she ran out.
I know.
That's concern.
It is concern.
Now she doesn't have a great memory and doesn't hold on to things for a long time. So maybe as she ran there, she got, running's making me hungry. Oh, it's the fruit time.
I don't know. She orders like 4 plates.
Yeah. And then she's eating like red spaghetti.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Was that spaghetti?
That's the only thing I could think of.
I just think it's
just
like noodles.
drenched in sauce.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
It's made from sun-dried tomatoes or something like that. Anyway, Chibi runs in and Makoto says, hey, Chibi, did somebody ask you out? And Chibi is mad at blabbermouth Usagi, but Ami says, we should really talk about Pegasus. But Mako's like, not now. First things first. Are you going out with him? First impressions are important in romance. And as this goes on, the girls all kind of appear like right in the camera.
Uh-huh.
Mina says, push, push, and push some more. What?
What?
She's not selling band candy here.
No.
Like what? I just mean be persistent, I guess. Ray says, we're here to give you big sister advice about romance. And Usagi pops up with a mouthful of spaghetti. It says, all these big sisters are single except for me. And Ray's like, are you little? Girls, what about the magical horse disrupting our city's highways? Chibi says, I'm not sure if I'm going out with him yet. And Mina says, well, he's hot, right? And Chibi says, yeah. And Mako says, well, do you not like him? And Chibi says, I just met him. I don't know if I like him. And my phone will not stop ringing. Hello? Yes, I'm alone. Sheesh.
Oh my God.
Ray says, yes, I'll bring you some oats. Oh. They're all out of alfalfa. Ray says, some things you won't know until you go out. Like, if you're straight or not.
Oh my
And
God.
Mina says, you might like him more as time passes. You could settle for him.
Yeah, thanks.
Little knitting. And, accept the way he eats the last of the fish eggs. Chibi thinks about these things but says, I think liking someone is like... But Mako interrupts. Shut up, Mako. She's having a growing moment here. Shut up. Mako says, liking someone isn't something you worry about. It's simple. Feeling like you want to be with that person. Oh, God, they're going to talk her right into the saddle.
Oh my God.
I think she should go for Robert at this point.
Yeah.
He's kind of a young Chris Pine type. Really young, like Chris Sapling. Like Chris Pinecone. Chibi says, I know that feeling. You're right. You want to be with them, and when you are, you want it to last forever. And you want to try some show jumping. Oh my God. The other girls are like, what did we do here? And Mina says, it sounds like there's somebody you love already. But Chibi says, what? No. No way. As her phone rings in her pocket. Vibrate, vibrate. She says, oh, look, sandwiches. But as she reaches for a sandwich, Usagi says, hey. And they start a tug of war over the plate. Classic Sailor Moon. A tug of war that Usagi wins or maybe loses as she goes flying when Chibi lets go of the plate and she sees the Juban sports issue on the table and it's scoop of the century. Mm-hmm. Chibi looks devastated and she cries out, that's a lie. And the girls are like, no, that's a real diagram of a Pegasus. But Chibi says, Pegasus would never. This is bogus. And everybody looks at her like, what? And Ami says, Chibiusa, do you know something about Pegasus? I think we know how Miss Mizuno deals with her daughter when she's done something wrong. The very few times she does. But Chibi says, Pegasus always comes to our aid. And Usagi has a look on her face like, oh man, I see a lot of family therapy in our future. Chibi's walking down the street and sneaking behind her is Usagi. But she's not sneaking well because Chibi says, I know you're there. Come out. Stop snooping on other people's privacy. And Usagi comes out and she's like, I'm snooping. You think I'm snooping? I'm snooping on other people's other private. Come on! I'm worried about what your answer will be. Meaning what she'll say to Robert.
Right, of course.
At 4 p.m.
Right.
Because this has all happened in like an hour?
Apparently.
The clock was striking like 2:45 when they left the elementary school. So all this has taken place in like 75 minutes.
It's a little hard to believe.
Chibi says, you just want to watch. And Usagi says, well, it's my duty as your guardian. And then we pull back and we see that all the rest of the girls are hiding behind the corner.
Yep.
And they're like, Chibi's pretty sharp. We should stay further back. But Ami's like, maybe we shouldn't be doing this at all. But the girls are like, we're worried about Chibi. We cut to the soccer field at Juban Elementary. It's 4 p.m. and Chris Pinecone is just holding up the goalposts, waiting to be a part of this story. Well, here's your chance, kid, because a voice says, do you like pretty older women? And we see Fisheye there, looking pretty good.
Yep.
In a mint mini dress and black leggings, their hair in a big long ponytail. Mm-hmm. Fish always has good taste.
Yeah.
The seafood collection would have worked, damn it.
It probably would have been amazing.
Given it a chance.
Yes.
And Robert's like, whoa, we're getting into a pretty weird space here. We're literally setting up like a Mary Kay Letourneau thing.
Yeah.
Before,
Yeah.
a magic horse was trying to date a preteen. Now, I don't know how old this horse is.
Mm-hmm.
He could have been born yesterday magically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Right.
He does have the voice of a 50s sitcom star. Tiger's Eye is intermittently trying to date high schoolers, but theoretically his persona is often a college-age guy.
Yeah.
I don't know how old Tiger is.
No.
Or if age has any meaning to whatever they are, circus
Yes.
murdering ghosts.
Right.
This is literally a woman approaching a 5th grader at a school like, what's up?
I know.
This is sub Mrs. Robinson.
Yeah.
This
yeah.
is Floridian representative levels of not okay.
Yes.
Okay? Fish goes on and says, waiting for someone? Come here often? Yeah, every day from about 8 to 3.
Oh my God.
And Robert's like, the police? Actually, no, Robert says, how about you? Okay, now I know. That must have been my translation. He's just like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
But that's a good, like, comeback.
Yeah.
You come here often? Do you?
No.
What about you? Right?
Yeah.
I don't think that's what he's doing.
No.
But seems like this kid's spitting game. Keep him as far away from Chibi as possible. I changed my mind. Fish says, I'm bored. I was hoping that someone would play around with me. I don't got a joke.
No.
I
Why
got
would
nothing.
you need one?
I've protested in the past. This is where I would have just Seinfelded out of this
Yeah.
and hit play on the next episode, maybe. But we're here to document for this for you, so here we go.
Yeah.
At the soccer field, Robert's making time with this hot filth.
What?
Fish, I'd like to you get it.
Okay. All right.
Fish said, Mom, I'd like to fish. I don't know. It's a MILF. Fish says, I love soccer. Seeing those muscular thighs makes my heart race. It's like, please score a goal for me. And Robert's like, no, this is where it pays off. It was all worth it. Robert's like, lady, don't you have any other friends?
I know, that was good. That was really good.
I'm not bored enough to need your company. I got TikToks to catch up on. And yeah, I'm on Fish's side a little bit. This little brat. Fish is like, oh, I never. Beautiful knee wants to hang out, but hey, where are you going? He just walks off. He says, I'm waiting for someone. Well, someone has arrived as Fish's carpet unfurls, and when it refurls, they're in their circus togs. 1, 2, 3, and he's on the board, and his mirror is out. Get him, Fish! I mean, no, don't.
Help. Police. Murder.
Robert's scream echoes across the school grounds, and Usagi and Chibi hear it, see it, and transform it. And even though we literally went to commercial just as he hit the board and came back before the Senshi reacted, Fish has somehow still looked in this guy's mirror off screen. I would once again bring up here that it seems like we're a little squeamish all of a sudden.
I didn't notice that.
When
That's a really good point.
male who's on the board.
A young, underage
This is
male.
literally a child, so
Yes.
I'm not saying like give me all the dreams.
No,
But I feel like if it was a little girl, we would have gone through the whole thing. But it's a boy, and we don't. Interesting. But I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I'll assume that we're doing it because we have a lot to do. Because we're only halfway through the episode. Fish is ready to do this kid. In.
Oh my God.
You forgot to say in. But from atop the jungle gym, we hear, hold it right there. I can't let you assault innocent little pretty boys. Just one word too far there. Usagi, just one. Innocent little boys. Good enough.
I know. I was like, why'd you have to throw pretty in there?
In the name of the moon, I'll punish you. This little dreamy. I loved him in Star Trek. In the name of the moon, I'll punish you. Fisheye says, you're here. And the Senshi say, super attack, double sailor kick. And they come flying down at Fish. But Fish just steps aside and the girls go flying past and they smash into the ground. Fish says, not very super. Anyway, come forth, Lemur, Mawashishitaru. And out of their shadow comes a Pegasus. Or is it? As this winged horse rears up, we see that it's a humanoid guy with wings, horse hoof hands, and a horse head on top of his head.
I kind of hate it.
I didn't do shit.
I didn't rig shit.
It's like his face is coming out of the horse's neck.
I know!
Nightmare fuel.
It is!
He's like man parts on a horse.
I know!
Which would usually be a centaur, but this is like a dollar tar. No? Wait. Manticorn. It's a Manticorn,
Oh
Pop!
my god, that is! Yes!
And he's got elf shoes with balls on the toes and little red bikini briefs with a black spade on the front, which is somehow worse. Nightmare fuel.
Yes.
The Senshi are horrified, naturally. But Chibi does say, so it was a fake. So Chibi's like, all right, Pegasus is in the clear. Which, I'll spoil this too. They go to no length to clear Pegasus' name. As far as the news is concerned, there was a horse murderer out there.
That's true.
Prowling the highways.
That is a good point.
Sailor Moon says, now Chibi Moon? And with a wave of her carillon and a twinkle yell, Chibi summons Pegasus. Pegasus says, whoa, Mawa, I know this guy. We go to the same gym. Hey, spot me, bro. But Fish says, not so fast. Mawashitaru. And the Manticorn flexes his big human arms.
I know.
With horse hooves at the end.
I know!
How does he pull his bikini briefs on?
I don't know!
And 4 wooden horses spring up out of the ground around Moon and Chibi. This is like a school playground, so it's like they wouldn't necessarily be out of place. He could just possess 4 existing ones, but no, 4 bouncy horses come out of the ground. And Mawa begins to twirl and twirl around, saying, twirl, twirl, twirl. And the horses spin faster and faster. Pegasus comes sweeping down to intervene, probably thinking that these are some other horses moving in on his girl.
Oh my god.
But he is blocked from entering by a dark force field. Whoa, uncool, bro. Fish says, oops, without Pegasus' power, you can't use your attacks. And they hold up a handful of knives, which do not require Pegasus' power.
No.
My power is, I'm going to stab you.
Yes.
Across the playground, we see the transformed Sailor Senshi arrive. They see Pegasus floating over the dark energy shield, and Venus says, so he is our enemy after all. This looks bad.
Yeah, I know.
Jupiter says, okay, sparkling wide pressure. And Mars says, burning mandala. But both their attacks bounce harmlessly off the shield. Fish says, if I defeat Sailor Moon, the rest will be easy. Victory is mine. And they throw their knives at Chibi and Usagi. But as the knives fly towards them, they go wide and miss. And we cut to a long shot.
Yes.
And we see Mawa just spinning between Fish and Moon and Chibi. And Fish keeps throwing the knives. And they keep missing. And they're like just going like awry.
I don't think that Fish is a very good shot.
It's possible. Also, there is like her knives, can they penetrate the shield? Or is the shield there? Do you know what I'm saying? Or is she trying not to hit?
That's a really good point.
The horse, this is bad staging. She's trying not to hit
bad staging.
her lemur and trying to like throw around them or something.
Why? But
it's a bad situation.
Fish could just, like when they moved out of the way of
something
the kick.
that happens later will tell you why throwing something is a bad idea.
Uh-huh.
But we'll get to that. Anyway, it's not working. It's not working at all. Mm-mm. And Fish is like, you're pretty persistent. Come on, get stabbed. But the girls are like, maybe you suck at this?
Yeah.
Got him. The other Senshi say, now this is our chance. And they throw themselves out the shield, but they are knocked back. Sailor Moon says, now Chibi. And they execute another double Sailor Moon kick. But they bounce ineffectually off of Mawa's shield. We got a real stalemate going on here. Mm-hmm. Fish says, ha! You can't beat Mawashitaru. He trains every day. The Senshi are wondering what they can do against this swole horse. But Pegasus lands in front of them and says, become Super Senshi. I'm here to, clop, clop, pump you up.
Oh my god, no.
Sink your hearts to my pulse. The girls are like, what now?
What?
Believe in me. Accept my power tonight. We got like 10 minutes left here. This episode is so far from being over. Mars says, we don't know you. This could be a trap.
I mean, valid.
And Pegasus turns around and runs full force into the barrier, bouncing off of it. And it's possible that he's just desperate to save Chibi. I think maybe there's an implication that, like, if he were part of the trap, it wouldn't hurt him, like he is fighting against it.
Right.
But, and we've been having a lot of fun here tonight. I hate to bring us down. But since we've emphasized his coding as an abuser, this feels like when an abuser threatens self-harm if you don't do what they say.
Oh, God.
Like, he could have just taken another 10 seconds and been like, okay, I've been living in the heart of your underage friend there. And, see, like, it's already problematic. Look, it's problematic. I'm not saying it's not. But, like, he's just like, okay, I'll just do this then. You like this? And he just runs headlong into the shield. Like, that's not going to work.
No.
What really makes me mad about this, I don't yet know how the show sees this character. Like, I still think it's a terrible premise for a season of TV. It's very icky sometimes. But if Pegasus is like an immature, uncaring figure, and he learns to be more conscientious and to not use people and to do things rashly and like gains a love and a friend, at least that's a positive arc, right? Like, poorly designed, but I see where they're going. But it seems like the show wants him to be like cool and tragic when I think that he's just like weird and victimizing, and he just acts brashly in this situation, and he's like, I'm hurting too.
Right.
Oh.
I proved to you that I'm hurting.
I texted you all day long.
Oh my God.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, look, I'm going out on a limb here. I'll admit that, but it comes off that way to me.
I can see
Chibi is obviously the real victim here. She is concerned, and she runs to Pegasus, but she also bounces off the shield when she hits it. These girls need a Moon Prism Ditch Witch, I swear. Bubble shields are their worst enemies.
I know.
They're like spiders. You put these girls under glass, they're screwed.
Oh my God.
She stands across the shield from Pegasus, who quavers on his horsey legs. Fish, who has produced a foil from somewhere. Right? So they can't throw the knife. I'll walk over and stab you. Now you're thinking, this is how I win. And Pegasus, in desperation, once again rams the shield to no avail. He says, look, you girls, you just got to trust me. My buddy Mawa, he's an adjunct professor at Swole University. He'll crush those girls like creatine powder.
Oh my God.
I was lying before. He's not really my gym buddy. He just asked me to spot him one time. And once again, he charges at the shield in desperation, bouncing off and collapsing to the ground. And Chibi says, no! And Pegasus says, I can't save you with just my power. It looks like this is it for old Pegasus. But Chibi cries, everyone, please trust Pegasus. I don't like it.
No, I don't.
You don't understand him like I do.
Like, but like, why do we trust him?
Because they're all superheroes, and that's how this goes. But like, if we go by what they have done the entire show up to this point, which is this girl has a secret friend, says don't tell anybody about her.
Yeah, well, when Ami said in the beginning, Chibiusa, do you know something about Pegasus? I was like, crap.
This is where
she hasn't told them this entire time.
No, yeah, right, we know.
But I forgot about that.
Yeah. And this is the point in the after school special where we get right up to the beginning of the third act where she, is able to tell an authority figure or a parent.
Oh my God.
And then at the end of the episode, we're all facing the camera and we say, if you blah, 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 800 number.
Right.
Yeah. The Senshi are like, fine, give us the power. And Pegasus leaps into the air and his horn flashes as 4 new rods appear.
Yep.
Bearing the Senshi's cosmic symbols. Each Senshi in turn transforms into Super Senshi.
Yep.
Which means basically they get a choker with a star on it. Which also, if we want to get into the kink community and the implications of the girls accepting collars from this guy, all I'm saying is we've had a lot of weird stuff going on this season. Somebody look into the background of the director of this season, a guy named Kunihiko Ikuhara. And that's all that I'm... Oh, shit! Oh, no! Ikuhara! Oh,
Stop.
no! Oh, shit! He's the director of this season.
I know he is. I'm disappointed that he's the director of the season.
Talked about him recently on Animedification for Penguin Drum when we talked about that. I think he is a great creator.
I think so too.
But I think that he is chiefly responsible
not great.
for why this is bad. And I will be talking about that. And his, let's say, struggle against Naoko Takeuchi in the reimagining of Rei for the anime series on the next episode of Shore Leave. So join us for that. The Super Senshi all nod to each other and charge their individual attacks. Even Shine Aqua Illusion all destroy the wooden horses in turn. And the energy shield falls and Fish says, no way! But Chibi says, now, Sailor Moon! We get the MGM, and Mawa's lifting days are over. He's going to that great golden gym in the sky. Fish says, I'll get you for this, and your little horse too, and disappears through a ring of water. Chibi is reunited with Pegasus, and he says, thanks for trusting me. I got to split. I'm not supposed to be close to a school.
Oh my god.
And he flies into the sky and disappears. Later on the swing set, Chibi is trying to let Robert down easy. She says, I'm sorry, I can't go out with you. And he says, that's okay. You know, I'm not bragging, but this is the first time I've been dumped. I mean, look at all this. Look at this.
Oh my god.
Chibi says, sorry. Because what do you say to that?
I know.
She's 7.
I know.
Or 8. Or 9 or 10.
Oh
She doesn't know how to deal with this.
No. Why would she?
Robert gets up and says, so you like someone else? And Chibi looks to the sky and the first twinkling star there. Behind the bushes, because of course, Mako, Mina, and Ray are there. Like, what did he say? I can't hear. But Ami says, I think that's enough. And we should study or something, guys. Studying, come on. And Usagi even says, let's go home. Mako says, aren't you curious, Usagi? But Usagi says, I think I know enough. I'm a little worried about what Usagi's thinking right now.
I know.
She's like, this explains all the Horse and Rider magazines around the house.
Oh my god.
Ray says, Usagi, are you hiding something from us? And she's like, no. And she gets a beep from her beeper?
Pager, beeper.
She's
thing.
got a beeper?
Yeah, I know.
What?
This is the first we've heard of it.
Yeah, what is this?
I know.
We see her pull it out, and it shows Mamoru's face, a little digital LCD face, and he looks mad.
It's great.
So I'm positing that there's a happy one, but this is the mad one.
Yes.
And it says, hurry up and come here.
Uh-huh.
Booty call.
Oh my god.
Usagi says, I forgot I promised I'd meet him today. And everyone's like, geez, it's a wonder she doesn't get dumped. We got to a movie theater, and Mamoru is looking at his watch out in front. I think it's that Godzilla movie that's still playing.
Probably.
The Godzilla movie.
Yeah, right.
Back at the playground, Mako says, to think that even Chibiusa would get ahead of us. That's what's important here.
Yeah, I know.
And Mina says, don't give up. There's plenty of summertime left. And Ray says, so many hot boys. Boys on the beaches.
Oh my god.
I want a boyfriend like that, they all say.
Yeah.
We pan up to heaven, but heaven can't look us in the eye because of what we did.
Oh my god.
What we did making this show.
Yeah. God.
They never clear Pegasus' name. What are they supposed to do?
I mean, hey, we know this magical horse.
In the old days when they'd
him.
give out killer plants to hundreds of people in Tokyo, we never go check on those people.
No, we don't. You're absolutely right.
The next episode starts and Usagi's walking through Juban past piles of bodies stacked like cordwood in body bags.
Oh, I know. I really want to know what like all the normal, like the quote unquote normal Joe Schmoes of Juban think when all of the, at the beginning of the series, when there are all these new stores coming in and horrible things happening.
It's weird because I've talked, pointed out at length about how this is following a lot of the steps of a superhero's origin and the way a superhero deals with a secret identity and to a degree with his or her public. But it's amazing the steps that they leave out. And I think it's because it falls outside of the mandate of what they want to do on the show. So, the junior writer comes in and he's like, this is going to be great. Check this out. So a guy sees Usagi changing in a phone booth and he's like, I'm going to write a story about this. And they're like, we don't do that here. She's got to eat some kind of food at an inappropriate time.
Right.
And then maybe she's laughing at a comic book and then she realizes that she really loves Moru and kills the monster.
Right.
That's what we do here, okay? Come back in on Monday. I want you rested and ready to go. That's what it must be, because they get so close to stuff and they can't, there are no answers to the questions that you just asked because they don't write like that.
No, I know.
So, it's
I wish
fine.
they did.
It doesn't, that's not what I like about the show and I don't really miss it.
Yeah, fair enough.
But when I've got nothing to cling to.
Yeah, I know.
In a season like this, and I'll say right now, yeah, all right, it's math. It's not fortune telling. I knew something like this was coming.
Mm-hmm.
This is the laziest they've ever done this.
It's so lazy.
I thought
so
the cosmic
slapdash.
power stars or S was kind of lazy.
Okay.
But this is really lazy.
They're phoning it in. Literally, like, Pegasus is like, oh, here's power. Here you go.
There's no phones involved. But
Yeah, I know.
I know what you mean. Like they just get like, here's a new thing. All right, great.
And you know what makes it...
It isn't like in the live action where it's like, all right, now you've got these tambourines, but you're going to have to do a tambourine dance. And then later, you're going to be sharing each other's tambourines.
Right.
Whoa, that's code for something.
Oh, my God.
Like it's literally just, here's your thing, a thing. Bow, 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 bow. Some new part of your costume. Oh, it's a choker on your neck.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't know if you noticed this too, but their back bows are longer.
Okay, no,
the tails of their back.
That amazing detail escaped my
I know.
notice.
How dare you? So I think that how lazy this is makes me even more mad because it is way more important and way better in the manga.
Oh, here we
It
go.
is. You know what else I don't like? And we've talked about this before too, when Pegasus is like, when Chibi calls for Pegasus to give Sailor Moon the power to do her thing. So Sailor Moon is not vanquishing any of these
That's
guys.
always been a little unclear, but it's somehow we are aware of Pegasus' existence. We just don't know his connection to Chibi fully.
Right.
He's living in her room.
I know.
But she rings her thing. He shows up, and through his empowerment, then Sailor Moon is able to Moon Gorgeous Meditation.
So I think they're trying to
Those are all the steps.
Yeah, I think they're trying to make this like the same thing, but I don't like this. Hey, girls, you know how you're going to power up and get stronger?
Just trust a strange man.
Yeah. And he's going to give you his power, and that'll become your power?
Ikuhara.
Question mark?
Ikuhara.
Yeah. So in the manga, it's like the girls all have their own chapters about the girls basically have to go through this some sort of trial where they're doubting themselves and they're like, I don't know what this is, and then they have to kind of come out the other end and like believe in themselves, and then through that they allow themselves, they get out of their way, whatever you want to say.
Well,
they get stronger on their own.
That's happened before on the show.
I know.
That happened specifically in Sailor Moon S.
Mm-hmm.
They trained with mountain ninjas. They realized that the power was inside of them the whole time.
Right.
They can't do that again. But I'm saying you do something.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just a horse goes, oh, here's some more stuff.
Right.
There you go.
Instead of waving a magic wand, he like points his unicorn horn and slightly in your direction.
Some magic wands are made of unicorn horn.
So I've heard.
Haven't you gone to Pottermore and found out?
Yeah. No, I'm good.
Does Pottermore exist anymore, or was it DDS'd by or DDoS'd? DDS, I think, is a dentist, right?
Yes.
I'm sure it was taken down by good hackers, ethical hackers.
Oh, perhaps. Perhaps it was taken down by... I don't know. That's a really good question. Man, that used to be fun. And then she turned out to be a transphobe, so it's not fun anymore. I
never cared.
I know.
Never.
And you want that on record.
Although I will say that I was Gryffindor with an Elder Wand, with the Black Swan, actually, feather as its
See,
core.
I don't remember my wand stuff. I remember I was Gryffindor.
Yeah, boring.
So, I know.
A real Chris Pine situation.
I was so disappointed. I was like, aw, Gryffindor.
Did you see the thing, or my Patronus was...
Gosh, I don't even remember what my Patronus was.
Something awesome. No, I think my Patronus was Black Swan, and my core was something from a dragon or something.
Okay.
It's just all the things where it's like, okay, look, boy, I answered all those questions right. Did you see the thing where Chris Pine was discovering his meme in real time? So there's the Chris Pine meme where he's...
Oh, God, let's see if I know this.
You don't. He's at one of the press conferences for Don't Worry, Darling. And I don't know what movie he's getting ready for, but he's got the long blonde, surfer hair or whatever, and he's just sitting there with earplugs in. They're for the translation because they're at Con or some foreign festival.
Okay.
But he's just got, like he did in many of those press conferences, has a completely blank look on his face.
Yep.
And so the meme is like me when you're telling me about, your great date or whatever.
Okay.
Funnier than that, though.
Yeah.
And so they showed it to him on, I don't know, BuzzFeed or one of those videos or something like that. And he was having a good time. He thought it was so funny.
Oh, that's awesome.
Guy's got a real good sense of humor about himself,
Well, that's good.
Because he's a lot of tough things in that guy's life. It's been rough. It's been hard for that guy.
Just like Robert. A lot of hardships.
A lot of problems, a lot of, obstacles.
Have there been? I don't know anything about him.
His dad was on chips. I don't know.
Oh, right. Yeah. He was never not going to be famous. Come on. I mean, I don't know. Do we want to talk about Nepo babies? Not really.
It's better than talking about this episode.
It is.
I was trying to get us off of it. If you've got something to say about this episode, you better do it right now.
I just have
before I start talking about dreamy Chris Pine.
I just got one little thing, and it's probably kind of dumb, but I was like, oh my god, Sailor Kick is back, and they did it like twice, and I was like, and I was like, oh, because it's soccer. That's why they're doing it.
Is that why it is?
That's the only thing I can think of.
Soccer is in this for 8 seconds at the beginning of the episode.
Yep.
Not to undercut what's going on. We gotta talk about something. It's not a big deal. It's not like when the butt pincher is like doing high jumps and long jumps.
Butt pinch. I was like, what are you talking? I forgot.
We've come a long
about the butt pincher.
You've come a long way, baby.
We sure have.
There's a lot. Do you remember about 5 or 6 episodes ago? There's a lady who's like, I'm gonna be the best cop there ever was. And we're like, eat her. I want the lemur to win.
Oh my
Remember
god,
that?
yes.
A lot of stuff has happened that you've forgotten about.
Wow. Supers has been
That was the Puka Balloon lemur.
Yeah, like Supers has been rough, y'all. It's been real rough. Yep.
All of you relax. This is a matter of inconvenient timing, that's all. Rebooting the podcast was inevitable. This is simply the beginning. I thought I told all of you I want broadcast silence until further...
Ooh, I'm very sorry, Cal. I didn't get that message. Maybe you should have put it on Twitter. I figured since you were relaunching the Just Enough Trope podcast, you might be a little lonely, so I decided to be your co-host.
That's very kind of you. I assume you're our mysterious podcaster. You're most troublesome for a Sailor Moon fan?
Sorry, Cal. Wrong guess. Would you like to go for an all-new show where the hosts haven't really changed?
Who are you, then?
Just a fly in the ointment, Cal. The dye in the hard. The moon and the lighting.
She's talking about the rebooted Just Enough Trope, where we'll dive deep into the pop culture elements that make up your favorite movies, TV shows, comics, and video games. See if she's lying about moonlighting and find out if Bruno is returned.
No, respect yourself.
Miss Mystery Guest, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Unless you want to sing a duet with me.
No, I'm afraid not. But you have me at a loss. You know my name, but who are you? Just another podcast host who saw too many movies as a child? Another orphan of a bankrupt culture who thinks she's John McClane, Corbin Dallas, a crooning alcopop pitchman?
I was always kind of partial to Seagram's Golden Wine Cooler, actually. It's wet and it's dry.
Do you really think you have a chance with this new show, Ms. Co-host?
Yippee-ki-yay, Mother Cooler.
Just Enough Trope, 40 stories of sheer pop culture deconstruction. Available everywhere you listen to your favorite shows.
Do I sound like I'm ordering a podcast?
Today for Kyoru Kuro Miru, or Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, we are going to be talking about soccer or football in Japan.
Awesome.
Yes.
Ted Lasso joke here.
Yes.
I don't know anything about Ted Lasso.
I don't either.
But I will comment when I should be making a Ted Lasso joke.
Football is among the most popular sports in Japan, together with baseball, basketball, sumo, and martial arts. The Japan Football Association administers the professional football leagues, including J-League, which is considered by many the most successful football league in Asia.
Huh. China got soccer, right?
China does have soccer.
Which is the most popular.
Although the official English name of the Japan Football Association uses the term football, the term saka, derived from soccer, is much more commonly used than footballu. So it's essentially soccer.
Wow, they drive on the left. They say soccer.
Yeah.
They love Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. Well, they don't drive on the left. They drive on the opposite side of the road than we do.
On the left side of the road. On the left compared to... If I say driving on the left, I'm not saying where the steering wheel is. Yes.
Oh, okay.
If I was going to buy a car,
okay.
I'm like, is this a left-hand drive or right-hand drive? I'm saying they're driving on the left. If there's a 2-lane road, they would be on the left side of the road.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. That took me a second.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Okay.
Sorry.
What I'm saying is that they are not above going, I like that.
No, they're absolutely. I mean, if this show has taught us anything, yeah, 100%.
I'm just reinforcing it.
All right.
Ted Lasso joke here.
The introduction of football in Japan is officially credited by the Japan Football Association to, at the time, the Lieutenant Commander Archibald Lucius Douglas of the Royal Navy.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Archibald Lucius Douglas of the Royal Navy and his subordinates, who from 1873 taught the game and its rules to Japan's Navy cadets while acting as instructors at the Imperial Japanese Navy Academy in Tsukiji, Tokyo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it, was introduced to Japan shortly after it was, it became big over in Great Britain.
Yeah.
So... it's been in Japan a long time. The first official football match in Japan is widely believed to have been held in 1888 between the Yokohama Country and Athletic Club and the Kobe Regatta and Athletic Club. Yep. Yeah, I know.
Cucumber sandwiches to be served.
I think they were very influenced by the Royal Navy at this point with their, YC and AC is the oldest running association football club in Japan. So it's still around to this day. The first Japanese association football club founded as a football club is considered to be Tokyo Shukyudan, founded in 1917, which is now competing in the Tokyo Prefectural Amateur League. There's a lot of different leagues. We'll get into that in a little bit. But in the 1920s, football associations were organized and regional tournaments began in the universities and high schools, especially in Tokyo. In 1921, the Japan Football Association, or JFA, was founded and became affiliated with FIFA in 1929. So they've been associated with FIFA for a long time.
Sure.
In 1930, the Japan National Association football team was organized and had a 3-3 tie with China for their first title at the Far Eastern Championship Games. The Japan national team also participated in the 1936 Berlin Olympic Games.
Huh. Was that the first time that they'd been in the Olympics? That's cool.
It has to be pretty early on, I think. I'm not 100% sure. I might have, at least for playing soccer.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
In order to strengthen its national team ahead of they're thinking ahead of the Tokyo Olympic Games in 1964, which I know we've talked about a lot.
Right.
In 1960, so 4 years ahead, the JFA wanted to bring in a foreign professional coach.
Ted Lasso joke here.
Detmar Kramer, a German football player and coach, was ultimately selected for this role, and he is considered to be the father of modern football in Japan.
So he's the modern Mr. Soccer.
Yes.
But there's no real... There was probably a Lord Soccer way back in the day when this all began.
Well, unless
but if
you
we're
want
looking for a figure
right.
for modern soccer, post 64 Olympics, this is our Mr. Soccer.
Yeah, unless you want to give it to Archibald
Right.
Lucius.
Yes.
Exactly.
Lord Soccer Esquire.
Yes, exactly. With the support of Kramer's coaching and leadership, the Japanese national team achieved a surprise upset of Argentina at the Tokyo Olympics. Kramer also formulated, so I think they were like, there's no way Japan's going to beat Argentina. They did. Kramer also formulated and implemented policies for general development of soccer in Japan. And Kramer encouraged the JFA to establish a national league to bolster Japan's playing level.
Okay.
So he laid a lot of the groundwork. The first organized national league, the Japan Soccer League, or JSL, was organized just 1 year after the Tokyo Olympics in 1965 with 8 amateur company clubs. The JSL continued to expand, and it eventually developed into 2 divisions with regional and prefectural leagues that arose underneath, all of which had promotion and relegation.
Oh, yeah. They'd be like, yeah, go Yokohama. Yeah. Get your scarves on and everything.
Right.
I mean, if they're getting it from the English tradition.
Yes.
Is this where, like, Japanese people get really crazy? Get your head broken with a Sapporo bottle outside of a stadium?
Oh, my God. It's probably, like, the, I don't know, most ruckus. What is even the word? Yeah, I don't know. Like, for Japan, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't go to those soccer games. People talk while the play is going on.
People are laughing while they're
wait until the ball stopped moving to say, go, do it.
I know. At the 1968 Mexico Olympic Games, the Japan national team, filled with the top JSL stars of the era, had its first big success, winning a bronze medal.
Oh, nice.
Olympic success spurred the creation of a second division for the JSL and openings for the first few professional players, which in the beginning was only foreigners, most of whom were Brazilian. And I don't know if we've talked a lot before on the show, but Japan and Brazil have a long time connection with each other.
Through Portuguese?
Yes.
Yes.
So it goes back like a long ways, but there are a lot of folks in Brazil who have Japanese heritage and that sort of thing too. It's very interesting. I think some of it has to do with after World War II folks going to Brazil. But I don't think that that's the whole story. But there is a lot of connection between the two countries. And while I was in Japan, I met somebody who is from Brazil who has some Japanese heritage as well. So yeah, it's very interesting.
Oh my God.
What?
That's all we need to make Brazilian people hotter.
Okay, look.
Sprinkle some Japanese in there.
Brazil is a very interesting country. It has a lot of different folks from all over the world, in their country. They're I know, they're gorgeous. What are you going to do? Japanese players, however, remained amateurs, having to work day jobs, often for the same companies who owned the clubs. So, like, the company-owned clubs, for example, I know, like, Nissan had a soccer league. So if you were playing in their league, you most likely, you worked for Nissan during the day.
Right.
So, yeah.
Nice work. Nice hat trick in that game.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to need all these cars shined up real nice on Monday morning. Okay.
Exactly.
Good hustle.
Yeah. So this limited the growth of the Japanese game, and many really excellent Japanese players had to move abroad to make a living off the game, such as Yasuhiko Okudera, who in 1977 became the first Japanese player to play in a professional European club, 1 FC Köln of Germany. Mm-hmm. However, when Okudera returned to Japan in 1986 to play for his previous team, the Furukawa Denko, he became one of the first recognized professional players in JSL. So essentially, I think him coming back and then being like, well, he was a professional player in Europe.
Yeah.
We can't exactly, for years, we can't exactly make him not be professional. Like, if we want him to come back and play for us, he needs to be professional, but that helped change and make it so
he doesn't have to sweep up anymore. That's okay.
Yeah, I know.
No, put the broom down. It's okay. No, you're good.
But it was a huge wave for let's bring on more professional players, and it was like a huge turning point.
Yeah.
So good thing. And we're going to fast forward to in 1993, the Japan Professional Football League, commonly known as J-League, was formed, replacing the semi-professional JSL as the new top-level club competition in Japan. So I just want to pause for a second here. Japan did not get a fully professional league until the J-League was formed in 1993.
Professional being the players are paid at a competitive rate.
Yes.
And they are competing internally, like inside the country, or they're competing
internally
against...
inside the country, and they're top level. They're like competitive with like other countries and how they're being treated and how they're playing.
Right. Right.
So yeah. It consisted of some of the top clubs from the old JSL, fully professionalized, renamed to fit communities, and with the corporate identity reduced to a minimum.
Right.
The new higher standard league attracted many more spectators and helped the sport to hugely increase in popularity. Soccer in Japan is coordinated into and we've touched about this a little bit before, but it's a pyramid system very similar to many European leagues, probably especially England, where they were like first introduced to it. But with the professional J League, especially J1 so J League they have J1, J2, J3. J1 is the top tier. J2 is this is the second tier professional.
Right.
And then J3 is the third tier professional.
Yeah.
And then we have JFL, which is, I read of this, it is essentially the same as the third tier, but they count it as the fourth tier. So it's the fourth tier. Anyways,
right.
So and then it's followed by regional leagues, and there is a system of promotion and relegation. So J1, J2, and J3, it's look it up if you're more interested, but there's around like 18 to 20 teams in any of them, and it has to, they have a whole system for who gets promoted or relegated. So the Emperor's Cup is a Japanese football competition that dates back to 1921, making it the longest tradition of any football match in Japan. It is a competition to decide the best soccer club in Japan. And so the cup is open to every club in the JFA, including the professional and minor leagues, as well as the top college and high school teams. However, because the Emperor's Cup is contested in a knockout tournament format, the opportunity for giant killers from the amateur ranks upsetting a top J-League squad is a very real possibility. For example, a major upset almost happened in the 2003-2004 competition when Funabashi Municipal High School took the 2003 J-League champion Yokohama F. Marinos to a penalty shootout. A high school team.
Oh man, I got homework to do. I hope this ends soon.
I know. Waseda University was the last non-league winner of the tournament in 1966. The universities dominated this competition up until like the mid 60s.
Yeah.
So I guess the other teams just got better at that point.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like you're talking about, this is where the professional players come in, right?
Yeah,
This is
you're
where
right.
The ringers come in, as if everybody's just doing it for the love of the game, and they're gonna go sweep up the factory floor tomorrow morning.
Right.
Now you got the guys coming in, with the corporate sponsorship, and they're like, it's like sending the dream team to the Olympics, right?
Right. No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're interested in following the Emperor's Cup, 2023's Emperor's Cup tournament will start on May 20th.
Oh, wow.
And there are a lot of games in this. There's 88 teams that it starts with initially, and famously, the last game is played on New Year's Day.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Fun thing to do on New Year's.
I guess so.
I guess so.
Ted Lasso joke here.
Japan participated in its first ever World Cup tournament at the 1998 FIFA World Cup held in France. And then Japan co-hosted the 2002 FIFA World Cup with the Republic of Korea. South Korea. After this, the association football communities of both countries received the FIFA Fair Play Award, because it's like, wow, you two actually worked well together on
you
this.
have an award for that.
Yeah.
You guys are the winning team.
Yeah.
A team together.
I know.
It's 20% off coupon for Carboni's Pizzeria.
Oh my God, I know. The Japanese national team, nicknamed the Samurai Blue after the jersey's color, reached the round of 16, or the 16 teams that play for the spot in the quarterfinals for the World Cup on 4 different occasions in 2002, 2010, 2018, and most recently last year in 2022.
Okay.
The Japan's women's national football team, nicknamed Nadeshiko Japan, is the most successful women's national team from the Asian Football Confederation. Nadeshiko Japan defeated the United States in the 2011 FIFA Women's World Cup final, thus claiming their first FIFA Women's World Cup title, becoming the first Asian team to do so. Nadeshiko Japan won silver medals at the 2012 Summer Olympic Games and the 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup, making it the only Asian team to have 3 combined medals from international championships. Nadeshiko Japan, their nickname, was derived from Yamato Nadeshiko, which is a Japanese term meaning, quote, the personification of an idealized Japanese woman. Or, quote, the epitome of pure feminine beauty. Poised, decorous, kind, gentle, graceful, humble, patient, virtuous, respectful, benevolent, honest, charitable, faithful.
Wow.
It is a floral metaphor combining the words Yamato, an ancient name for Japan, and
Right.
Nadeshiko, a delicate frilled pink carnation called Dianthus cerbus. I am terrible at flower names and Latin, whose kanji translates into English as, quote, caressable child.
Ugh.
I know. But I will say, if you look at the flower, it's really cool looking. It's got really spirally, spindly petals. So that could be cool, like soccer wise. But yeah. Look, Nadeshiko Japan sounds cool. I just don't like that it means an idealized woman.
Right.
And also, like, you think about, like, soccer players. You don't think about, like, oh, I'm so demure. It's just weird.
I wouldn't put anything on soccer players. I'd allow
I
them to
wouldn't
be whatever
either.
they wanted to.
Yeah, okay,
But
fine.
I definitely wouldn't rate them by how beautiful they were, how respectful they were, and whatever else it was.
Faithful.
How much like a flower they are.
I know. That's what I mean. I just think it's weird. Anyways, they love soccer.
Nippon Ole.
Yeah, they I think after baseball, kids said they wanted to be a soccer player or coach. That was like number 2. And then in some years it flipped and it was higher than baseball. So
I guess there are kids who want to be coaches.
I think, when you're a kid, sometimes people think that would be
Right?
fun. Yeah.
When I was out on the Sandlot, I'm like, oh, I want to be Kirby Puckett. Yeah.
Right.
I wasn't like, oh, I want to be Tom Kelly. These are twins personnel. But,
Yes.
but like, I guess some weird nerdy kid
Right.
with asthma is like, I'm going to be the coach. I'm going to be in charge of all this. Is that a Japanese thing?
It's a good point. Like, I want to be a coach. Don't you want to be a player?
Yeah. Don Mattingly's great, but Tommy Lasorda. Now with the advent of Ted Lasso, kids are going to be saying that.
You're absolutely right.
We did it. We somehow
We totally did it.
to an actual Ted Lasso joke.
He's going to inspire
Kids wearing
young kids.
fake mustaches out there. All right, now, come on.
Oh my God.
Isn't it Ted Lasso just him doing his Joe Biden, but he's like a young guy with a mustache?
I think so.
It just sounds like Joe Biden.
Yeah.
When Jason Sudeikis did Joe Biden.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
so.
we're talking about that. Okay. Right?
Yes, I think so.
I have not watched the show.
I haven't watched 1 second of it either. So, anyways. Itadakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? Usagi is in the kitchen and yes, her stomach is growling out of control.
It's a trumpet. Or
Yeah,
bugle.
I like the bugle way better.
My bugle needs some bugles. Lost opportunity.
Ooh, fair point.
The
They were
Japanese
around
probably
in the 90s.
love bugles. They have all kinds of weird shaped corn snacks.
They
Don't
would
tell me that
love it.
Japanese don't know what bugles are.
I don't think they do. I'm going to be real
that's-
honest with you.
We gotta keep that out of there. Out of their perception, because something's bad is going to happen.
Oh my God.
They find out about bugles.
There'll
And
be a
now
lot
we will
more-
redraw the terms of this contract. You will bring us bugles. Or the Japan Self-Defense Force will be the
no.
Japan Getting Some Bugles Force. Give me the bugles.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, I love that image. We get the whole image of them at Fruit's Parlor Crown, and they're, the girls are just having like coffee or tea, and then Usagi has a whole smorgasbord of food, like we mentioned before, just
So weird.
like complete pasta drenched in tomato sauce. It's just red for some reason. She has a plate full of sandwiches, which she will not let Chibi eat. Also, like, Chibi, physically gets up on the table,
Yes.
which I'm like,
She's a small child. It's
I know
okay.
she's a small child, but they are out to eat.
Let her do it.
Oh my God. Villain gauge, we rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. The lemur in this episode is named Mawashitaro, the merry-go-round! Exclamation point.
Okay.
Maui Shitaro, their full name can be read as Kaiten Mokuba Maui Shitaro. Kaiten Mokuba is the Japanese term for a merry-go-round, and Mawashi means to rotate or turn. And Taro is just a really popular boy's name. I don't know what to tell you.
They just gotta
Yeah.
merry-go-round Frank.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Like Momotaro,
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
and Taro means great or eldest son. So, and the design, I mean, you've pretty much gone over this. It's just terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. The stuff of nightmares, like you said. Just a humanoid gray Pegasus with a human head sticking out of Pegasus's neck, and he's got curly dark green hair for some reason, and green lipstick or green lips, whatever, and just very gray, and humanoid body just full of muscles, human muscles, and like we gotta have hooves for hands. But the elf shoes are just like...
It doesn't even make sense because he's got human arms that terminate
Yes.
in horse hands.
Yes.
And horse limbs are not like human limbs.
No.
They're not primate limbs.
No.
So he's just got two beefy arms. Oh, beefy arm there. That terminate in chitinous hooves.
I know!
I mean, this is somebody's fetish. Look, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
That's all.
100%.
That's all well and good.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. He doesn't. He's got shoes on, so presumably he's got human feet.
Right.
So he can dance.
Right.
That's all he can do.
Well, and that's the thing too. It's like, why give him shoes and then the other hooves and shoes, man? It doesn't make any sense. So now we're up to the rating. I mean, this is just the stuff of nightmares. I mean, it's a design. I don't want to say that it's not poorly designed. I just don't like it. You know? But you remember it. It is memorable. I will not be able to wipe it out of my brain. And then like he just like flexes his muscles and then the orange merry-go-round looking horses pop out of the ground like daisies and yeah, and then the force field thing is kind of cool, but that's like him spinning and the force field, that's kind of it. You know?
I can't, it's kind of like a ballet dancer or some kind, it's like a pirouette, and I don't know if that's supposed to be like he's his own merry-go-round.
Yeah.
Or he's like a music box or something. I can't figure out what the hell it's supposed to be, but that's how it works. So
you thought about it more.
Who am I to say? Yeah, well.
Anyways. Yeah. I just feel like we don't get a lot of time with him, and it's basically, you know, the force field is powerful. I'm not going to say it's not powerful, but that's pretty much all he's got.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give him 3 out of 5 dark stars.
I mean, I would give him 3 as well. There's a lot of shock value.
Oh,
is
100%
as well for a bad guy like this. And so, yeah, he is definitely shocking, although it's a very simplistic design. I was disappointed that if you're going to do an imposter character, there's no topping Imposter Sailor Moon, but you got to try to get close.
Ooh,
and he was literally only there to think of how this is structured, this episode. It's not. Like, he was literally only there to force a confrontation with Chibi about Pegasus. Yeah. And there's a lot of ways you could have did that, and they reached into the imposter bag, but there's a big hole in that bag, and Imposter Sailor Moon got out through the hole. Right. Zoiset's got that one locked down.
Yep.
So how are you going to do it different? How are you going to change it? And the answer is you're not. We're going to terrify you.
Yeah. With
this nightmare machine. But that's the only reason it's getting any points at all. Is just the sheer audacity of the Manticorn.
Yes.
So 3. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah. All right. Take a bow or our rating on how our villains left the stage of life. He is squatting down. So this, I feel like, is a somewhat different pose than we've seen. And he gasps with his hooves in front of him and says stage out. I feel like it's kind of a nice variation, but it's still kind of the same thing. So I'm going to give it a 3.
3 is probably what I'm going to give it to.
Yeah.
He's not in the typical jazz hands. He's kind of like curled up a little. Maybe it's to show his muscles a little more, but he's sort of like curled up a little, and then he's like, "Whoa, no, stage out." So, like, he cannot believe that this would happen to such a Taro as him. Is Taro like Chad in Japan? It's got to be a real Taro.
Let's say yes.
All right.
I'm going to go with
he can't
yes,
believe
it is.
that this is happening to him. And he's looking for a, what's Stacy in Japanese?
Oh, my God.
Like the most popular Japanese girl's name. Kimiko.
Yeah, sure.
Taro and Kimiko. We know these types. So yeah, I'll give it a 3.
Oh my God. So now we are up to our rating. I love how after the Senshi started to give Chibi dating advice, Usagi says that the problem is she's the only one who's had a boyfriend, and I love how super embarrassed the girls are. I think that Chibi is way too young to date. I mean, even if we push it to 9 or 10, I don't know. I mean, and it seems like it's pretty innocent, but I just feel like he's older than her. It's weird. I think it's weird. I'm uncomfortable. I do like that the show is exploring whether or not Chibi wants to go out with someone and if she even likes them. I think that that's important, and I feel like that's something we don't see a lot.
Yeah, it's only doing it to make her, to bring the realization that she's in love with Pegasus, though.
And I hate that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
So now I'm taking that back. No, I like that Mako. I feel like she gives some good advice. Like if you feel that you want to be with that person, then go with that feeling. But it's kind of there, but it's not really there. I don't know. And then I have major problem with Fisheye targeting and attacking a young boy. For all the reasons that we talked about previously.
It wasn't even it was a sexual approach.
It was.
Like, it didn't have to be.
It did not. It did not at all.
There's no implication that she is gonna, I guess the fairy chaser can, these fairy chasers can think whatever he wants, but she's not like, and then I'm gonna bone you.
No.
Although it had the language of romance, I guess.
But that's
the thing with the guys is that this designer who has a boyfriend is like, I need you to be my muse. And he's like, okay. And there's no like romance there. And then suddenly, underage boy, it's romance time.
That is so true. And I didn't even put it in that lens.
And my high heels and get out there.
I hate it even more. So, for all of those things, and also this episode is just not structured well. We have a power-up. It's such a letdown. It's not exciting. And Pegasus, gross. I'm giving it 1 out of 5 roses.
Well, you've said everything that I would have said, but I am going to say 2. So you didn't say something that I did say. They're doing the work. They're building the blocks that they need to build to get to the next part, and that works. But the blocks are made of asbestos, kitten paws, and radium. They're not. The blocks are made of horrible things.
Yes.
So from a season building and a storytelling perspective, they did everything they needed to do, but it was all done either half-heartedly or just in a skeezy kind of way.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm getting inured to the skeeziness. I've got an entire character who is a 50s sitcom star that's preying on a young girl. So that doesn't bother me so much, proportionately. But it's just like the laziness that gets to me. The show can be better. It has done better. We just saw it do better.
I know.
We got
the Minako episode.
We lived too high on the hog. And so here comes the fall. So hopefully now that they're not spinning their wheels anymore and we're going to move forward, we can get a little more going and a little more momentum here. But this, unfortunately, sometimes you get the Battle of the 10 Warriors. And sometimes the threshold is an amazing threshold.
Right.
That you get to explode through.
Right.
This is more just, all right, we've dragged ourselves, horse metaphor, across the finish line. Right. And now we can just, go back to the stable, get shot up with more amphetamines. Horse racing is a dirty, dirty sport. And just get back out on the line and wait for the trumpet to sound one more time.
Oh, my God. Or the bugle on your stomach.
Ted Lasso joke here.
Oh, my English title. I really struggle with this one. They phoned it in. I think I'm phoning this title in. It's Up Dial Powers.
All right.
Yeah.
That's, again, there's 3 characters that probably are all those things. So I think that fits perfectly as a Japanese language title, English title. Mine actually came from an idea that you gave me.
Oh, do tell.
Everybody, I need to explain this. Or maybe I don't have to. I think Pegasus is kind of a tragic figure, a romantic figure, a figure who's like, guys got problems. He's so cool, so magical, so hot, And we got a lot of guys who are, strong and obviously coded as athletes working out in this episode. So my title is Pumping Byron.
No. Next episode is another episode of Shore Leave. We will be setting sail, and
Do it. Say it.
Drinking some Mai Tais.
You just gotta say it every time.
I know. Even though I've decided that Mai Tais would not be my drink of choice. But yeah.
You're a rum runner kind of girl, aren't you?
I said I like hurricanes. Like they're,
yeah, oh boy.
Because they're dangerous.
That's like I'm a sophomore in college. What's your favorite drink? A Long Island iced tea.
Right, exactly.
I bet it is.
Yeah,
I bet it is.
Yeah.
It's short leave again, so we'll be back to talk about topics related to anime, the Japanese culture or Japan.
Yep.
So look forward to that. In the meantime, if you want to join us for our live taping of our shore leave episode, you can do that. We'll be going live on Twitch. Twitch.tv/JustEnoughTrope is the streaming home of the Just Enough Trope Network, our podcast network. So if you want to go to twitch.tv/JustEnoughTrope and subscribe to us, hit the heart icon, hit the bell icon to get notifications when we're live and broadcasting. Our day is up in the air right now. I don't want to commit to something. This is a couple days ahead of when this comes out even. So, but we will very soon send a note to our social medias where you can find us at Noob_Sailor. Or Sailor Noob, and let you know what time, what day we'll be recording. And the way that you do it is you just go to Twitch, or also you can go to our YouTube channel as well, link in the show notes, and we'll live stream, and then we'll, do the show for you. Hopefully we won't have to stop and too many errors. Hopefully it'll go smoothly.
Right.
And then you can ask questions and chat with us and that whole thing. So we'll let you know about that. But yeah, join us. It's a good time. Always love talking about things that are Sailor Moon adjacent.
Yes, exactly. Well, that's our show for this week. In the name of the moon, we'll be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
Ted Lasso joke here.